the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Uhrig?
Yes.
And Kish is present. I have the Amherst Township meeting minutes from April 13th, 2021. The meeting was called to order at 7:03 p.m. by Chairman Lynch with a pledge to the flag. Roll call, Abraham, Lynch, Kish were present. Uhrig was absent. Others in attendance, L. Ashley, K. Smarsh, R. Cerrone, and G. Lynch. 4-121, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham, to approve the minutes of the March 23rd, 2021 regular meeting as presented. All ayes. 4-221, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham, moved to approve bills and financial reports with reservations. All ayes. There were no audience concerns. Under correspondence, Fiscal Officer Kish noted we have an electronic update regarding OPWC moving to a new sales management portal. Neil reminded everyone of the May 25th bid opening for South Dewey Road. Also, the OTA, no additional information regarding whether or not the townships will be included with the next round of CARES funds. At the state level, we are still waiting for our state reps to announce local government distributions. Under reports, ambulance holding their meeting in June or July. Sheriff, the Sheriff Department is allowing community officers to return to the township meetings. We have not received the report for this past month. Under zoning, 6 new permits so far this month, 2 accessory buildings, 2 pools, and a fence. Under fire prevention, we now have a couple of years under our belt with a contract under one community. Neil will talk with Chief Wilhelm to start presenting data. Under roads, parks, and cemetery, finishing potholes, topsoiling, and grass seeding. Dumpsters have been delivered, all set up for dumpster day starting this Thursday. Cutting grass and weeding. Storm sewer washout on Stang Road has been rebuilt and repaired. Daryl is back to work. Mid-May for crack sealing for Kay and Linda Drive. Neil suggested possibly reaching out to Don Romanchik, whose main focus is now stormwater, for possible financial help for future washouts if it's not an emergency. Neil noted a conversation and follow-up email he sent to Rob Claber, Assistant County Engineer, and presented a map for the Carvana sanitary sewer construction plans. Neil would like to meet with the mayor of Lorraine, Jack Bradley, to discuss the existing Amherst Township City of Lorraine Joint Economic Development District. Neil received information from the county regarding their sanitary sewer plans for the area, allowing him to have a more meaningful conversation with Mayor Bradley. Neil has also discussed the Lorraine County Engineer take over the Oberlin Road responsibilities in the unincorporated area of Amherst Township. Neil also discussed with Bob the proposed Sandstone Development's Line Road responsibility assignment. The Amherst Township Trustees would like the Lorraine County Engineer to assume responsibility for the 6,000-foot-long Spline Road, while the trustees would assume responsibility for the balance of approximately 20,000 feet of the new roadway. Neil also shared correspondence he shared with John Evanson regarding pavement subgrade chemical stabilization requirements for all roads in the township. He doesn't see any requirements changing for Hampshire Farms development. Senior Services. Linda has been playing phone tag with the individual she was working with on the NOPEC community grant. She will continue to track this individual down. She spoke with a senior citizen this morning that was very upset with several items, including the office hours of the Senior Services office. Linda made it very clear that she will return calls if a message is left and will always respond to an email. Complaints are being handled by the designated individual. Tom Horseman is requesting that Amherst Township pass a resolution authorizing him to be the commercial plumbing inspector. He has all the certifications to do so. Apparently, plumbing inspections are done through the state of Ohio and are holding up the building process. Tom will take care of the inspections. Billing will be handled as it is now with an additional line item for plumbing. Amherst Township will be paid 15% of the cost. 4-321, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Certification to enforce the Ohio State building codes except 1, 2, or 3 family residential. Roll call, all ayes. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be held Tuesday, April 27th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 4-421, motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham to adjourn at 8:19 p.m. All ayes.
Okay, are there any changes or corrections to the April 13th meeting minutes?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I have none.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve then as presented?
So moved.
Second,
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, and then also in your packets, you have the March 2021 credit card transaction detail. There were just 2 charges on there this month.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed for policy. The card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And next, you have your payment listing in front of you. I want to point out an error. The third line down, there is a payment to Rita, and the type that it shows is a EW, it's employee withholding. Then if you look further down, the last payment is also to Rita, and it is a warrant. I did not remove the employee withholding. That is an error, so I need to correct that. It has been voided out, but I printed the report before I voided it.
Okay, so the warrant is voided then, right?
The warrant is good.
Okay,
The withholding, I tried to file electronically, it would not take it.
okay.
So I had to void that voucher out and process a warrant for it.
So the third item will be deleted from
The third one down should be
Right.
deleted. The last one is correct. Like I said, I printed the payment listing before I voided out the first payment. That was my error, I apologize.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented, noting that payment 205-2021 is void.
second that motion.
And accept the financial reports and et cetera.
All right, can I ask one question, Chris, once
Yes.
you get that down? The reimbursement for number 12991, what was the reason for that It said reimbursement on the document that we were
9912,
signing.
Andrew Lockman.
Yes,
If you remember last month, Kevin had an open and close, and the gentleman wrote the check for $72 too much.
okay,
So that's the reimbursement cost.
okay.
So I have moved to approve the bills and financial reports noting that payment 205-2021 is voided.
Sounds good, I'll second. Or was it second?
No, it was second by Denny.
It was,
Euring and Abraham.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Denny second.
Euring and Abraham.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
That's the financials.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. Is there anything to bring before the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Correspondence, Chris?
I did have something that I put all in your mailboxes. We received a letter from Community Development Director Rob Duncan asking for potential infrastructure projects. Due to the proposed federal infrastructure bill that could be coming in, they want the projects regardless of readiness. So that if, when, or how much funding may be available, they could figure out how monies will be distributed.
Okay, well, there's, with that, Chris, I just penciled down a few things here that the county should already be aware of, but I don't know if they'll be focused on these items. One is the jet area at the State Route 2 Middle Ridge Road intersection where they're planning that bore under State Route 2 so that the property in Amherst Township can be developed. Currently, I know the county will probably expect to put the tax incremental financing to fund that. But if we have the federal funds to do that, that'll help with the economic development there and provide sewers to that area. And I know in looking through the details of the report, though most of the residential is actually in Elyria Township, they're showing laterals at various residential lots there that I assume will be required to tie in. So it'd be nice if they could actually cover that cost with this, since you're providing sewers to people that currently have on-lot systems, and the health department will then require that they connect. So if all that's covered, they're not paying for that up front, nor are we giving up, in addition to all the other entities that have levies, the biggest ones being in that area, the schools, giving up the property taxes, they can use federal dollars. The other is Hampshire Farms. I know that they've talked about the extension of sewers along Oberlin Road there. Again, funding with the TIF on those 52 homes. It'd be nice if they could fund that. And then also, as you just read in the minutes, the Spline Road between Oberlin Road and State Route 58, though that's for the sandstone development, we'd like the county to take over the responsibility of that road. That road helps in terms of safety, traffic flow, and economic development along there. So again, instead of using TIF dollars, which we did find out the county intended to TIF that, this is going to be fit right in with the infrastructure bill. And then I don't know if the county commissioners have already worked out the allocation for the American Rescue Act funds, but those funds can also be used for water and sewer infrastructure. I wouldn't limit it to just the proposed federal infrastructure bill, but I can communicate with Mr. Duncan with those three specific projects. I don't know if Dave and Denny have any others on their mind right now. I mean, we've always talked about trying to get the sanitary sewers to the park. I don't know, we had one resident since to get gravity, we had to have an easement across the resident's property, and that resident was very gracious and agreed to it, but it was always the cost issue that prevented that. Since the sewer would have to go to the Hidden Valley Drive Road, so that was gravity feed with the water coming from Middle Ridge. But that's always a potential to put on there. I believe as far as payoff, I don't know if this can pay off existing ones, but I believe the State Route 58 sewer, from what I last heard when we were working on the sandstone development, is already pretty much paid off. I don't know, David, do you have any other suggestions?
One thing that came to my mind is to look at the status of existing water lines, particularly on the Amherst service area, or service lines.
Broadway Taylor?
It could be Dewey Road, a few of those. I want to say some of those lines are quite old, and I want to say, it comes to my mind something about, every so often a line break on, say, like Dewey Road or something, and whether there's a hodgepodge of lines there or not, but that's something to talk with the city of Amherst, talk with the water department, and see, what the status is on those lines, if some of those lines need to be replaced. How is, Broadway Taylor, Dewey Road, Oberlin Road, from North Ridge, all those areas that are services on Amherst lines, look at those lines, and perhaps, if needed, loop those lines somewhere, or work on improving those lines. That's something, we tend to forget that, but
The ones I recall the most breakage was in Pinehurst, where we were having all those water line bursts and breaks.
That's a bad spot, but Dewey Road is old as well, and it's got some Band-Aids on it.
Okay.
But yeah, Pinehurst, there's a bunch
anywhere.
Band-Aids in there.
Yeah. If we feel there's another section somewhere, maybe on the Lorraine line, or
It's pretty much
the other
all
line that needs
stainless steel
replaced, we
cans.
may want to look at that. That may be something to look at. Even if it doesn't get funded, it gets us to think about it. That's one item. Another thing, this street replacement. Everybody's making a wish list. Well, some of our road paving projects or concrete replacement. I'll take $500,000 for concrete replacement.
Me too.
Denny, anything else there?
No, I don't have anything.
Thanks, Dave. Chris, I'll talk with Rob Duncan, first off, to make sure this meets what they're asking for, and, after talking with them, then I'll put something in writing, because I don't want to spend a lot of time documenting things now that's not even being considered.
And the email's on there where to send your
Yeah.
wish list to.
Okay. Yeah, Lynn Eckes. Okay. All right, anything else, Chris?
That's it.
Okay, David, communication or correspondence?
I have no correspondence at this time.
Okay, Denny?
Nothing, sir.
All right, I have two of them, but one
Oh,
of them,
I do have one
Yep.
thing. We have an ambulance board meeting that has been set for Thursday of June, 17th of June, Thursday evening at 7 o'clock at Amherst Fire Department. That's Thursday, June 17th at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Fire Department.
good. Okay, and then I have one, unfortunately, this came in a communication with a call at home, and I didn't get the call, Georgianne did, and this is from Sheriff's Committee, and I did call back and unfortunately missed them and left a message. But my understanding is there's request for use of the township hall. He was inquiring about that by the Perry Group. This is Lorraine County Retired Public Officials Group. They want to know if they could use the hall. It'd be one time every other month. For some reason, they used to be at St. John's, West River. I guess it's something to deal with COVID. I believe they can't use it, or that's what we're assuming right now. I have no idea how many people. I have no idea what times. Obviously, we can't have conflicts with the when the cleaning's going on, and also if it's evenings with the various meetings here. But typically, our policy is that the hall is available for use for a public purpose. I don't know if retired public officials is a public purpose, but I want to leave it open to you guys. I want to hear your comments so that when I do talk with Sheriff's Committee, I can, give them a response, either yes or no. And you can put it conditional on, we've got to make sure it's at times that don't interfere with operations here. So what are your thoughts?
I think it's a public purpose in that way. We're all public and we're all gonna retire and help former employees. I can see that.
There'll be no food or drinks. I know, Kevin, I'm watching you, so it's,
But how many people do they plan on
that's what I got to find out.
having here? There's a couple of things. If they plan on having 50 or 100, it might not be a good place. But let's see about that. Is this for the whole county?
I would imagine so. I don't think they have that many, because I remember at one time they used to meet at Dragon Ranch when they were operating for lunch there. So it's, but again, David, I need to get more information. It was just since we had a meeting tonight, and that's why I was hoping to get back to the sheriff to get more detail to bring to this meeting, so he didn't have to wait till our next meeting, because obviously I can't make a unilateral decision on something like this. So I just wanted to give you the information I have.
The only thing I can add is the responsibility. Have to make sure that the hall's open at that time for them, and then when they're done, make sure that it's shut. And that's another thing we have to look at. If they want an evening some week, well, we have to find out who's gonna open and shut the hall for them. Still a part-time township, and you don't have someone here 24/7.
The sheriff's asking, I'll leave it up to the sheriff. They have access.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
It's pretty much open anyway. They come
But-
in through here to.
Well, my point is, as far as who's opening and closing and making sure it's secure, and again, I don't know Sheriff's Committee's involvement in here, it's just the call came from Sheriff's Committee,
Okay.
okay, and until I can get back to them, so. Denny, do you have any comments?
I would be somewhat negative
Okay.
based on the limited information. I'd have to have more information
Okay.
before I could make a decision, but right now, I'm somewhat negative.
Okay, well, I'll get more information, we can discuss it at the next meeting.
My only question is, why are they talking to us? And, I don't mind helping, but are there other public places they could talk to, or? Some, I guess my question is, is there a reason other government entities didn't allow it or haven't taken it up?
You know, I think you
As long
just
as we're-
heard Georgianne's response, she spoke with the sheriff, I did not. I wasn't home at the time, and he had called on the home phone. But I imagine here being closer to, you know, the larger cities is probably, as she just said, centrally located. And as you're aware, David, most of those public employees are going to come from the population, dense areas.
Yeah.
Well, then they should find a location that is close to the population area that they're serving.
This used to be it.
Well, I'll get more information and bring it up. Again, I didn't talk with them, couldn't get them. I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, but I left a message back with Sheriff's Committee. That's it for correspondence. Denny's already covered ambulance, Sheriff's not here. Zoning, Remy?
There were 10 permits for the month, no new houses, so the houses stand at one for the year to date, but I got a couple that are gonna be coming up real soon.
What are houses at this point?
Just one house.
Just one house?
Yeah, it was in May.
Okay.
I mean, not May, June.
June?
What are you,
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, the other way, the other J, January.
January, okay.
Sorry about that. May 4th, there's going to be the zoning commission meeting. The landscaping guy is going to want to put a second building up there. He did apply for a design review, but I don't think he's going to be ready. He didn't, I asked him to talk to the architect and get together with him and find out exactly what he's going to need as far as drawings, and I don't think he's really putting 100% behind it, so it'll probably get continued, but we'll see. Also, on the golf course, there's a gentleman that I think is going to be buying that for sure. He wants to put in driving range and keep it a golf course. He wants to put in an ice cream stand at an existing building that's there. I pointed him into the direction of Tom Horseman and the health department for those items. But I think it's pretty sure that this is the guy that's going to be buying the place. Also, we're real close to a settlement on the other thing there that we were talking about.
Yeah, that one, if you need to discuss it, will be an executive session.
Sure,
Anything else, Remy?
that should do it.
Okay. Denny, anything?
No?
David?
I have nothing.
Okay. Chris, was certified copy of the resolution for Tom Horseman doing the plumbing inspections, is Tom aware of that? Does he have a copy? Okay. You have
I
his
made one.
email?
Pardon?
You have his email? Could you send him a certified copy so he knows? Because he had that form to fill out. It's still, he has to go through the state, so there'll be a time lag on that. Okay, Fire Prevention Officer, Chris Nyhart.
No report.
Okay, roads, parks, and cemetery, Superintendent Smarsh.
Just mowing the park and the cemeteries, and for roads, for the starters, Kate and Linda was crack sealed this morning. We are 3/4 of the way done with the topsoil across the road on that electrical trench. We'll be finished up with that tomorrow morning. There was a washout on the culvert on Dewey Road on the north side, in that big culvert that's in the dip of Dewey Road, about 100 feet south of North Ridge Road. And we put in a section of 12-inch, extended it out further to get it into the creek bank there, and then just relined it up with recycled concrete and some 304 compacted.
We certainly don't have a lot of rain this spring, and that's a second washout.
Mm-hmm.
That's odd.
Yeah, you know, that, on that same culvert last year, after a huge rain and a plug up on the catch basin that's up on top of the hill, on the west side, north side, that washed out, and we got that packed in. That hasn't moved at all for what we did there, so that's good to go. The south side of that same culvert on the east side, it needs a little bit of attention, but it's not in any danger right now. We are scheduled for Thursday to take the van out to Trucks Shelving America. We're going to get the shelves and brackets mounted into the new van.
Okay.
It's been a long process trying, you know, with the COVID thing and getting delayed and all that. Now we got it set. I've spoke with Chris about it, and it's a go. And what he had ordered is in, so Thursday we'll be taking that. He said he'll have it for a day, possibly a day and a half.
Okay.
The chip and seal program with the county is it's going to be advertised on May the 7th, and then there'll be the bid openings on May the 25th. And they have it so that no job will be started until after July 1st in order for the any type of pre-construction that might need to be on the road, which we don't have any with the chip and seal roads that we're doing.
When was that bid opening?
May the 25th.
The 25th, May.
And that's which project?
That's for the chip and seal program with the
Chip and
county.
seal.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, I was called out by Sheriff Dispatch on last Friday about 9 o'clock. There was a electric pole that fell across the driveway on Stang Road, but it wasn't electric. It was just holding communication. As a matter of fact, just a phone line was on it. So the homeowner had called 3 different numbers with the telephone company, and any route that he went, they all told him that it was after hours, that they would not be out until Monday. So on my way out there to make sure that it wasn't in the road and there was nothing crazy going on, to see if I had to put any cones or anything up, he cut the phone line, which was his, and just pushed the pole out of the way. But it was completely blocking his driveway. And both sides has a ditch on it, so there was no way of getting in or out of his driveway. And I've dealt with the phone company before too, with them not wanting to come out, but geez, oh man, when a driveway's blocked, you know, it's a shame.
Hope you don't have an emergency, right?
For real. And that's unfortunately, that's the driveway that the buses turn around in as well.
Huh.
So I had told him though, if, you know, if that was to happen or something, we would talk with the bus and we'd have them turning around somewhere else, you know, to not go get crazy, because the other pole has a little bit more communication on it. And they were real close to each other, so we'll see. But that's kind of what you deal with the telephone company nowadays. And that's it. That's all I have. Everything seems to be going pretty good. We're looking for about an inch of rain coming here tomorrow night into Thursday. But it's dry, so it's been drying up pretty quick now that the sun's been coming out. We've had the wind.
The bat house ditch is almost empty. The angle ditch has always got water running.
Mm-hmm.
They did a nice job on K Drive sealing all them cracks.
Yeah,
That turned out nice.
good.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Questions for Kevin?
No, I have no questions.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, Administrator Ashley's not here this evening, but Linda did send, wait for the train. You've got in your packet, Linda had sent 2 grant opportunities, and I know she wanted to discuss these in terms of ideas. The first one's from NOPEC, but I really think the one that she put down here, Kevin, is the way we gotta go, because that's immediate, where Butch go.
Yes.
I'm going to ask here is, I was going to ask Linda, but since Chris is here, maybe she can get it. Chris, I'm not sure if the bill from the electric company, if they separate and show the township electrical demand, or if you're just getting one consolidated bill. But if you have one just for the township hall, it'd help if you could provide a copy of that information, but, you know, we're talking at least on an annual basis to show the electrical consumption. It may not, it's been some time when we had looked at our electrical consumption and some changes before you were here. I know Howard did have for the park area township facility, but I wasn't sure what was all included.
The master bill has the parks, street lighting is the only thing that's separate. Everything else is on the other bill.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't want the street lighting right now. If we can
The
get.
other bill, the master bill includes the parks and the hall, I believe.
But
And
it-
it's gonna include across the street.
Does it separate them though, to show
I think it does.
by address?
Not sure. I'd have to look.
Okay, and is it all paper, or, okay, we don't have an account to see it electronically, so that we could see like a year's worth of information?
It's all paper, but
Well, just so, if you can, I'm not sure if is it something that Linda would have access to?
if she wants to go through all the bills.
But for 1 year, you probably have that box still in your office,
Yes.
right? Okay. And, because what I want to get at, the way this grant is, Kevin, if we can get what our actual usage is, and I realize lighting will only be a portion of that, if you could ask Butchco, they can give you an estimate for the savings in kilowatt hours, BTUs, whatever they're going to use. You'll have to use the estimated savings, because we know one of the largest ones is if you got to change ballast or light bulbs. You know, that's where the big money is for us, and obviously with the LEDs, there'll be a lot less of that. But what we'll do is apply for the grant to cover the differential that we had on there. And the real key is this is only for projects that have the award criteria on the back of the document in your packet. They have to be projects that are completed between January 1st of 2020 and May 31st of 2021. I don't know if that'll be done by then.
I spoke with Charlie today. The lights came in last week, and 10 of them were crushed, and there was damage to the other ones. And Mr. Butchko had passed away, and that's why he didn't
saw
get
that.
back with me, so there was a little bit of time delay there. But they had spoke that, so the first week of May, they're supposed to be back in. If that is the case, then he said it would be 2 weeks after that before they would be able to get onto this job.
So it'll be tight.
It's gonna be real tight. And that's if everything goes as planned, is the way he's speaking today.
Okay, well, I'll give Linda a call, but you can find out about that, because that's the key. If we can't make that deadline, it doesn't, there's no need to apply.
Yeah. Today, yeah, let's see, today's Tuesday, so Thursday, we'll see. I'll get the numbers. We'll look into it and see what the numbers say come out to be. I'll talk with them about how much of a savings that part could save.
Even if you just take current kilowatts versus, or even the wattage rating, current versus future.
Sure.
All right, because I'm sure they're going to expect, they being NOPEC will expect that information. But again, the key point is completed by May 31st.
Yeah, so then, maybe knowing this, having this, I'll take it to Charlie and see if we can't get that bumped up and have it done as quick
Okay.
as we can.
And just so we're aware of the scope, we're talking about $1,300.
Yes, I
Okay, so
understand.
it's not a huge amount, but if we can cover that, it'd be wonderful.
Right.
Okay.
Kevin, did you say that, who passed away?
Mr. Butchko.
Sid Butchko.
The matriarch, Mr. Butchko, the elder Mr. Butchko, passed away.
How old was he?
Had to be in his 80s, at least.
I want to say it was just 80. You can check, Denny, and see the obit. It was just printed in the Chronicle. I'm sure it'll be online.
I saw the funeral procession. They had all the Butchko trucks and everything going by, and I was like, I called Linda. I says, man, something happened. And she looked it up and found out.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, the other one was with the public health grant. This one I was surprised that Linda received this. I didn't receive any notification. In the past, the health department has occasionally sent these notices, but this is a smaller one. This is, the biggest thing here is for safety and recreational items. And Linda's talking about some platforms there in the park. And I don't know, Kevin, if there was something else here, you know, in our case, we're looking at safety and activity, you know, for people to actually get out and exercise. But I think what she's got here, you know, is probably appropriate unless you can think of something else.
Well, I'm actually working with her. I have some information that I'm to get to her tomorrow.
Okay. All right, good, but, I mean, there's no objection here from anyone in applying for
No.
funds, I assume, so, we won't have a resolution yet, you know, till there's more information pulled together. Okay, I have nothing to report on Lorco, Phase 2 stormwater. Nothing new to report other than, just so the trustees are aware, we've got the Engel Ditch Phase 3 and 4. We know we're waiting on some information from the county engineer's office to get that bid, but we're really going to have to start working towards the next project being working down the Batten House Ditch, because that's going to take a lot more work. There's a lot more residents to contact there. We are going to need Pete Zawick from the engineer's office, though I'd much rather if he can give us an estimate of cost over a certain distance, so we don't have to be contacting everybody at one time, and we know which people to contact. Since that'll also have to be in phases. There was also at the Lorraine County Township Association, Don Romankak, who has now taken over for all stormwater management at the county level, realized we're in a joint application now with the county in all of the unincorporated areas that are part of the, are required to meet the Phase 2 MS4 EPA requirements. Don had indicated that the EPA has come out with their updated specifications, and he will be requesting information from the townships. Pretty much for Kevin and Remy, it's going to be the reports we've been sending in annually. But now, and he is going to check through those as far as any changes that we may have to do, if any, based on their new standard that the EPA's come out with. You know, and this is, I believe, almost 2 years late, so I suppose they can blame some of it on COVID, but the rest is, who knows what the delay is. Okay, we'll move on to complaints. Okay, the first one, we know that's on hold. The second one, this dealt with the fence down on Hidden Tree Lane, and I'd mentioned at the last meeting that I hadn't received the final resolution to this from the prosecutor's office. I did have the email with the proposed correspondence, but nothing on letterhead, so I said I'd check with the prosecutor's office to see where that was, and Tom Mangan did dig it out, and you've got a copy of that letter in your packet explaining everything, and Jerry Innes signed it. This is probably one of the last things Jerry did before he retired, because you can see it's dated December 10th. But the main thing is for Remy and Kevin, Remy, for you to make sure you have this filed with that address. If this ever comes up, whether it's Mr. Douglas or it's, you know, some future resident. And Kevin, though we don't ever anticipate working in that right away, you never know what can happen. And this was the resolution, you know, okay, replace the fence, which we know has already been replaced, but if the township needs to do work in there, since it's in the right of way, and the fence comes out, the township is not replacing the fence. And they seem to understand that. But again, you know, who knows if that'll ever come to pass.
It's on our property.
It is, but as long as, well, just, it's on their property, but it's in, you know, within the right of way, which is just an easement, so it's not our property. It's his property.
That's not what it says.
Where do you see that, Remy?
On the back here, it says,
I just wonder if you're seeing something I'm not.
the area, in fact, is owned by the township. Therefore, the Hancocks have actually constructed this fence on township property. December the 10th, 2020, page 2, top of the page.
I'm glad I don't cut the grass.
What was that?
I'm glad we don't have to cut the grass.
Yeah,
But in any case, just make sure you have that in the file. Okay, Remy, the next one, this came up at the last meeting. This was the complaint about the property there on Levitt Road in terms of property maintenance. I believe this is that newer construction there for that business, the salon.
yes, I went and posted that there, and he's in the process of cleaning it up. He had his attorney call me and asked me exactly what I wanted done, and I explained it to him, and he said they'd be working on it. So it is now posted, and we'll wait and see. I'll be checking on him to...
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it open then until we hear back from you. Okay, in terms of the other items on the agenda that the trustees have various responsibilities assigned to, is there anything to bring up today?
I just wanted to let you know that I did attend the consortium meeting, last Wednesday, and, not too much was discussed, not too much new. The fuel charge, even though, the fuel surcharge, even though the price of fuel has been going up, is still not moving, so that's good. I had no complaints to forward. I wasn't aware of any complaints that we've had since the last meeting. And, Sarah Matthews from Rumpke was there, Joe Sikora from Solid Waste was there, as was David Levens. And it was a relatively uneventful meeting. I wanted to let you know I was there and
All right, thanks, David.
briefly what happened. Came up with the policy committee, the community incentive grant, they should have information by the 1st. As of earlier today, I still had no information on that grant. I had no information on either the how much money is be available or what the grant amount will be. So still no info yet on that, but it was last information from Tiffany Barker stated that she thought by the 1st of May she would have things together for the grant, but like I said, as of today, still no information.
I thought she went to the different department.
She was helping. She's helping. She's still helping there. Helping up there. I'm sure she may come back. I'm not sure.
Okay, anything else, David?
No.
Okay, Remy, did you need to discuss that property maintenance and executive session, or?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
not as of yet, no.
All right, our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, May 11th. Kevin, I don't see any need for a work session yet, do you?
No.
All right, any audience concerns? Okay, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Urick.
Yes.